Hello and welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 18th October 2024. So let's get started with our discussion, and I will be focusing always on two important things before starting my analysis. First one is keep your syllabus copy aside, and whenever you are starting your day of reading, so try to start with your syllabus. So if you are having good command on your syllabus, then you can easily write your ethics based answers and ethics based case studies. So there you have to include your keywords which are present directly in your syllabus. So for that, exactly you have to know what are the micro topics which are present in your syllabus as well. And if you have a good command on your syllabus, you can easily identify which article is relevant from your examination point of view and see even previous questions also. So if you see previous questions, then you can understand like how UPSC is asking question and how UPSC is tricking you and trapping you, because almost all the topics which had been covered by UPSC, but now on the same topic how the question is changed by UPSC and exactly how the trends of UPSC are going on. You can understand when you solve these previous questions, when you analyze them carefully. So do these two things, okay? Now let us see the first important article of our today's newspaper. The title says ESC, that is Supreme Court upholds Section 6A of Citizenship Act as valid. So this article is very important because it is a judgment which is given for Citizenship Act. Okay, so here we have to know about some important themes and as well as important dimensions. What exactly you have to know, we are going to see in this lecture now. So what is the keyword? Keyword is the first one. It says about a Supreme Court gave judgment. Judgment regarding what? Section 6A. Okay, it is Section 6A of what? That is Citizenship Act. Section 6A of Citizenship Act. So let us see from which subject it is important. From GS paper 2 under polity, because here we are seeing about Supreme Court judgment and Supreme Court involvement. And apart from this, yes, from GS paper 2 under governance, it is important because we are talking about Citizenship Act. Okay, and next from GS paper 2 under society also, it is important. And not only this, even from GS paper 2 under international relations also it is important, because we are talking about migrants here. So for the migrants from especially three countries like Bangladesh, Afghanistan and as well as Pakistan, we are going to give citizenship for them. So it is important from international relations point of view as well. Okay. So from all these subjects, it is important. So now let us see what are the dimensions you have to see. So you have to see dimension like, if you open your polity Lakshmikant, M. Lakshmikant book, you will be having a separate chapter regarding this citizenship. Here, in that chapter of citizenship, you have to see these things like which are the articles talks about the providing of citizenship in India and under which part of our constitution it is present, and you have to see through which ways we can acquire citizenship in India and through which ways you are losing citizenship in India. And apart from that, yes, you have to know about this Citizenship Act of 1955. It is one of the parent act. So after that, many a times we went for amendments to this act. You have to see years of amendment, when we came up with the changes, and you have to see what are the implications of those amendments. So you are talking about one of the amendment of the Citizenship Amendment Act of 1955, and in that one of the amendment we added this section 6A. So now here why it is in news, because Supreme Court upheld, Supreme Court said that yes, it is correct, and that too 5-judge bench gave the judgment, and the judgment is 4:1. So 4 judges support that yes, it is correct of providing citizenship according to this section 6A of Citizenship Amendment Act. So one judge said no, but now overall if you see, the majority of the judges gave the judgment that yes, providing citizenship under this section 6A is correct. So here, from our current affairs point of view, what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see about what is this case is the first dimension, and you have to see what is the Supreme Court judgment, and you have to see what are the provisions of this section 6A. So these are the dimensions from your current affairs point of view, and these are the dimensions from your static point of view. So there is a high chance of getting question from this citizenship, especially from your prelims, okay, because of this landmark judgment of upholding section 6A of Citizenship Act. Okay, now let us see this in detail. So this article is saying that in a landmark ruling, so in a 5-judge Supreme Court bench, yes, they said, yes, upheld means nothing but yes, it is correct to provide constitutional validity of section 6A of Citizenship Act of 1955. So under this act, they said that yes, we can grant citizenship for immigrants. So immigrants of which state? You have to remember that is Assam. Okay, so immigrants of Assam who entered this Assam, the date here is January 1st, 1966. So January 1st, 1966, you have to remember the dates. So what happened after this 1966? One major important war was 1971, that is Bangladesh Liberation War. So during this time what happened? So many people, they entered into Assam, right? Many people, they migrated from Bangladesh to India, so they are illegal migrants. So because of this, we are validating the date here, that is January 1st, 1966. So before the people who entered into Assam, before this 1966, they are going to get citizenship. So if you see the timeline here, so it is saying January 1st, 1966. So when this Bangladesh Liberation War happened? In 1971. But what happens between this time period, whenever people entered into Assam? So for them also there is a provision of providing citizenship, but terms and conditions apply. So what is the terms and condition? So if the people who are entering into India between this 1966 to 1971, they have to at least reside 10 years in India. After this 10 years of time period of residence in India, if they apply, they will be getting citizenship. But what is the fate of the people who entered into India after this 1971? They are treated as illegal migrants. They are treated as illegal migrants. So there will be no citizenship given for the people who entered into Assam after this 1971. So this is a story that you have to remember. Okay, before this, yes, they will get citizenship. So between this period, yes, they will, but terms and condition is they have to stay in India for 10 years of time period. But after this, they are considered as illegal migrants. So there is no provision of providing citizenship. So this is the thing which is present in this section 6A of Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, so this is a thing that you have to remember now. So now let us see the important details. So now the Supreme Court bench ruled that immigrants who entered the state of Assam after this Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971, they are not at all entitled to get the protection which is conferred under this section 6A. They are declared as illegal migrants. There is no provision of providing citizenship for them. And the provision, when it was introduced in year 1985, after signing this Assam Accord. So after signing this Assam Accord, we came up with this section 6A, and the case had been filed. Why these people are considered as illegal migrants who entered into Assam after 1971? So finally the judgment which came. Okay. So now if you see this section 6A, section 6A was enacted as part of the Citizenship Amendment Act of 1985. Okay, after this Assam Accord. So under this section 6A, it says about these three things. As I said, those three things are: Section 6A created a special provision for this Assam with the persons of Indian origin who came from Bangladesh before this 1st January 1966. They were deemed as citizens of India. But the person who entered into Assam between 1966 till this 1971, they were detected as foreigners. But even though if they are registering for getting of citizenship, they can get citizenship, but the condition is 10 years of residence is important. But after this 1971, they will be detected and they will be deported to their country according with the law. So they are always considered as illegal migrants. So these are the some important things that you have to remember from this article. And see this article: seeking to allay fears, center says fortified rice safe to consume. So what is this fortification method? So the key word here is fortified rice. Key word is fortified rice. So from which subject you will be reading this topic? From GS paper 3 under science and technology. And next one is from GS paper 2. In your governance, you have this topic of health from that point of view. And even from GS paper 1 and 2 under society and social issues point of view, you will be studying. And even there is also the ethical dimension in this. From GS paper 4 under ethics also, you will be studying this. Okay, so from these 4 subjects you will be reading this topic. So what are the dimensions that you have to see? First of all, you have to understand what is the meaning of fortification. Fortification means what? You will be adding some required nutrients in our food. That is called as fortification. First you have to know definition of fortification, and you have to see like which are the minerals, which are the vitamins that we can use. Can we use all? No. So which are the things that we can use for fortification method? And you have to see what are the applications of this fortification, or what are the advantages of this fortification, and you have to see what are the challenges that we are facing to improve fortification in India. Okay, and you have to see through which methods we can go for fortification. So all these are the important dimensions that you have to see, and you have to see examples of this fortification. So one example is fortified rice. Apart from this, what are the examples of fortification of food that we are following in India? For example, you can take golden rice. Okay, for example, you can take rice kernels which is mixed with some essential minerals and vitamins. So like that, what are the fortified products that we can available? And even you have to see one more point, how government is trying to distribute them, how government is trying to distribute this fortified food materials to the people. So all these are very important dimensions from all these subjects. From ethics point of view, you have to see what are the ethical dilemmas. What are the ethical dilemmas of this fortified rice? Okay, now let us see the context. Center has reassured the public about the safety of fortified rice, dismissing the concerns that it is universal supply aims to benefit malnutritional companies. So actually, yes, we know that, yes, fortification of this food products is very, very important. But whenever government is insisting about this fortified rice to the people, so because of some issues, they are not using at all. So people, they are not at all using this fortified materials because they are having the fear of whether it is safe and secure or not. So Union Food Ministry is also emphasizing that iron fortified rice is safe for all, including the people who are having this blood disorders. So can you tell me some examples of blood disorders? we have anemia. In that anemia, we have different kinds of anemia. So let us keep this anemia as a whole here. And apart from that, we have thalassemia, we have sickle cell anemia. So in all these diseases, what happened? So there is reduced iron content. So doctor will be prescribing iron syrup like that. So here, this iron fortified rice is one of the solution for addressing this problem of iron deficiency anemia or thalassemia or sickle cell anemia. So now here this initiative, that is fortified rice, which is aligning with our WHO guidelines, which is one of the recognized method to address micronutrient deficiencies in the people. So if you see the key points that you have to get from this article here is, now whenever central government is ensuring the safety, then what happens? There will be increasing of compliance of using this kind of food material in the people. So the first one is we can maintain public confidence in this fortified rice. Especially we can also remove the doubts about the safety of this food in the people. And second one is we can also follow nutritional strategy. Fortified rice, which represents a strategic approach to tackle widespread micronutrient deficiencies, especially particularly diverse population, especially vulnerable people like women, children, they are facing this problem of malnutrition. So because of malnutrition especially, they will be having this kind of iron deficiency. So this is one of the proper solution that we can take to tackle this situation. And next one here is scientific backing. So whenever we are reliant on the scientific evidence of promoting of this fortified rice, then what happens? Can we improve research and development? Yes. So we can also provide the importance to the research in the public health initiatives, so that we can also increase the credibility. And next one here is we can also consider what are the health conditions that we are having. So whenever we understand and whenever we are having the data of this kind of disease in our country, then obviously government will be taking certain policy measures. So one such a nutrition policy can be taken by the government here is providing of fortified rice even in the PDS system. And next one here is we have to focus on even absorption of iron management. So even one of the important problem behind this kind of diseases, even though they are taking rich amount of iron, so their body will not be capable of absorbing that iron. So we have to understand why certain people are having this iron deficiency, okay, so that we can understand whether this nutritional science and patient care will be apt or not. So if we know exactly like which kind of people, for example, every human is not having the same genetic thing or same molecular thing or same proteins or same enzymes or etc. So if they are differing, obviously the capacity of absorbing, obviously the capacity of utilizing that will be changing from person to person. So even we have to understand this management of iron, whether it is happening or not. So based on that, we can go for nutritional science, we can go for addressing that patient separately. So we can take individual patient care. And if you see, we have to even align with our global standards, that is WHO guidelines, so that we can follow a global framework for health and nutrition, so that even in India also we can promote international best practices as well. So why we have to follow this international best practices? So if you see any ranking, so recently we studied about global hunger index, India's rank is very, very bad. So like that, even UNDP, okay, United Nations Development Program will be releasing Human Development Index. In that also India's ranking is less. If you want to improve the ranking in this kind of things, obviously we have to focus on this best practices of international standards, okay, so that we can achieve more advancements and we can focus on research and development, we can get more investment, okay, we can become a developed country soon. And next one is even whatever the misinformation that is transferring or transmitting in social media regarding the safety and as well as security of this iron fortified rice, we have to see about that and we have to ensure that public are well informed about that benefits. So whenever public knows about the benefits of that so and so thing, they will be coming forward to use that. Unless and until if they don't know what is the benefits or what is the use of that, they will be not coming forward. So we have to focus on even how to combat misinformation. So as a civil servant, it is your responsibility to take care about awareness, not only awareness, campaigns, etc. So if there is any misinformation regarding that, try to tackle that. So how can you tackle this misinformation? by using this concept of persuasion, that you will be using again ethics here. Okay, and what are the benefits of this using of iron fortified rice? So first one is, even WHO said that we can provide micronutrients through this fortification methods. So because of this, we can improve our health outcomes as well. So first one is, yes, we can improve cognitive development. So iron is very, very important for our cognitive development. That is nothing but improving of your brain, mental abilities, memory, etc. So if you are not taking adequate iron, then what happens, especially in the early childhood, you will be having optimal cognitive development and you will be having less IQ compared to that of others. So diet is very, very important, especially in the early childhood. That too, at least for 5 years of age, we have to maintain the proper diet for the children. And next one here is, by using this fortifying rice with iron, particularly in the regions where rice is the primary dietary staple. So as you all know that in South India, which is the staple food, that is rice. In North India, which is nothing but wheat. So rice, it is only just carbohydrates. If you are eating only rice, it is not at all useful. You will be getting only carbohydrates. So by using that carbohydrates, you will be becoming fat. That's it. But you will be not getting essential micronutrients to that. So because of this, wherever we are using rice as a staple food in our country, we have to go for fortification of rice, so that we can also improve cognitive development of the children, and as well as we can also get better educational outcomes in the children as well. And next one is, we can enhance maternal and infant health. So anemia is prevalent among pregnant women. So actually what happens in the pregnant women, for the first 3 months, there is no need of taking extra food for the woman to provide nutrition to the fetus. So obviously what are there which is present in your body, very, very little amounts they will be taking. There is no need of taking extra food plus 2, okay? But if you see in the second trimester from 5th month to 9th month, so extra nutrition you have to take so that you can supply to your baby. So actually at that time what happened, what are the blood which is present in the mother, so that will be transferred to the child. So what happened, obviously in our country 70 to 80% of women, they are having anemia, that is low amount of hemoglobin. So at that time, whenever they are becoming pregnant, what happened, their blood is shared with the fetus. So still that level will come down to 6 mm of Hg, or like, sorry, 6 or like 5. So normally we need to have 12 to 14, but it will be further decreased to 5 or 6. So at that time, pregnant women will become very, very weak, very, very lethargic, like that. So you can compare the pregnant women of India in the second trimester with the pregnant women of China or South Korea. So they'll be doing every work. I will be showing one shot. I will be sharing that shot also, like how the pregnant women of India will be and others will be. Why? Because there is no proper hemoglobin level in women of India. So it is a one important thing, and actually it is a cyclic. So whenever mother is having less hemoglobin, obviously that will be transferred to the children. Children will be also having the less hemoglobin. So if you want to address this child malnutrition or child anemia or child mortality, we have to address problem of the pregnant women. So yesterday we discussed about this global hunger index. Yes. So what are the important dimensions they will be taking care of? Stunting, wasting, child mortality, and one more thing, malnutrition, not malnutrition. So there are 4 indicators in that. So here you can see, if mother is not healthy, obviously children will be not healthy. So if you want to increase the ranking of India in this global hunger index, again we need to have this fortification of food grains. So again we can connect today's article with your yesterday's article. Okay, next one here is, what are the risks which are associated with this iron fortification rice? So we don't know like whether it is effective in every children or every woman. So we don't know about the absorption level. So some people they will be having good absorption level, some people they will be having very less absorption level based on their molecular biology. So we don't know that. And next one here is, bioavailability of iron is very less in some people who are especially belonging to the tribal people. Okay, in tribal people, GDP6 is very, very low. It is very important to absorb more amount of iron. If this GDP6 is very low, the bioavailability of iron is very less. Even if you're eating iron, that will be not absorbed into your blood. Okay, and next important problem here is, for some people you will be having adverse effect on sensitive individuals. So if you're taking excess iron, you will be also getting some negative impacts. So have you heard, so how many of you are facing anemia here? Low amount of hemoglobin, at least 2 or 3 you will be there. Yes or no? So if you are having anemia, so if you go to any doctor, what they'll prescribe? Iron tablets or iron syrup. So if you take iron syrup, have you ever observed like what is the side effect of that iron tablets or iron syrup? Anyone? At least have you observed? So you'll be getting rashes, yes or no, on your body, and even black colored stools you will be getting. So why black colored stools? Even if you're taking iron, if you're not absorbing that, it will be going into waste. So here for some people, based on their molecular biology, they will be getting rashes. So once something had happened after taking something, if you are getting some side effect, will you take that again? And if you are getting, you will also say your relatives, your parents, or your near and dear, your friends, not to take this, I had this. Then what happens? So no one will be taking that. Again, that will be the problem for a society. So this is the important problem that is happening in our society. Like if someone are getting any sensitive to this iron, so they are having a question of safety of this iron. So because of this, this is in news now. Okay. Next one, see this article here. Doctor strike reveals how apathy to health pushes people into poverty. So what is happening now? Doctors are doing strike, especially in West Bengal because of this Arjikar incident. Okay, so what happens is this really right ethically, like doctors doing the strike rather than treating the patients? Is that right ethically? Yes, it's morally right. I will accept that because of the problem they are having. So they are doing strike and it is morally correct. But what about ethically? So what is the ethics of doctors? They have to treat the people. So rather than treating people, they are going for strikes. Is it correct? Ethically, is it right? No. So this article is saying that whenever the doctors are going for strike, so that is having impact on the health of people. Further, it will lead to poverty. But what is the relationship between doctor strike, poverty, and health issues? Is there any relation? What is that relation? So how doctor strikes leads to increasing of poverty? Come on, think and tell me. Why doctor strikes leads to, okay, if doctor strikes are doing, I know that yes, there are some health impact, but I'm not asking about this health impact, how this doctor strikes leads to increasing of poverty in the people. You have to think out of box. What happens? Come on fast. So what happens initially if you are getting treatment, whenever you are having any disease or signs symptoms, it will take very less time to come out of that. If the doctors are not available, then what happens? You will be staying and you will be carrying that same signs symptoms, same disease for long period of time. So what happens? So the stage of disease will enter from acute towards chronic. So in the chronic stage, you need hospitalization, you need to invest more amount of money for surgery or for medicines, etc. That will further leads to debt trap. Yes? Okay, so from what? From which subject you will be reading this topic? From? So this article is talking about doctor strike. So because of this doctor strike, it is having impact on your health and it's also leading to increasing of poverty. So from which subject you can deal with this? From GS paper 2 under health, from GS paper 4 under ethics, from GS paper 2 and 1 under society and social issues point of view. Okay, now let us see what this article is saying clearly. So doctors' issues are far from resolved. So their protest sought a complete overhaul of healthcare system and they reported that they are doing 36 hours of shift without any proper rest, proper restrooms, and there is unsafe working places that leave them vulnerable to violence. So especially if you are from medical background, you will be understanding what the pain exactly they are facing. Especially during their internship, they have to stay in that so and so hospital and they have to continuously work. There will be even no sleep. So we don't know like when the patients in emergency comes to hospital. So every time you need to be available, and even they don't have proper working places, proper safety. So because of this, these doctors are becoming very vulnerable. So because of this, now they are doing protest or strikes. So this article is saying that 75% of women doctors, they have exposed to harassment or physical violence. What are the reasons? Reasons are lack of proper infrastructure, lack of proper medicines, and long working hours, and political interference. So if you see this movie Jawan, in that movie Jawan also one incident they represent about how doctors faced the conviction because of political pressure and because of lack of infrastructure, lack of availability of oxygen cylinders like that. So because of all these things, now what happened, there is increasing of violence against doctors. So India's expenditure on healthcare is very, very less. So this point is very important that you can make a note. Like whatever India is expending or like spending on this healthcare is very less when we are comparing with our GDP. We are spending only 2%. If you see Cuba, Cuba is a very, very small country. It is spending 14% of GDP on this health. And do you know, so whoever, which country want the doctors, Cuba will be supplying the doctors. Cuba is a country, so in that country, they have more number of doctors. Okay, so they are spending 14% of GDP in the healthcare. So we have to learn from that kind of countries, and we have to invest more in the healthcare expenditure. And one more fact that you have to know is, in India, private people are more. They capture this healthcare market than compared to the government. If you see in this Hyderabad city itself, if you go to any gully, you will be seeing at least one hospital. So because there is private capture happen, nearly 70% of India's total health market is occupied by private. So always the private, they will be working for their profit, not for the public service. Again, that is one important problem that leads to poverty in India because of health issues. And this one is in October 2021, Niti Aayog also said that the cost of treatments had been increased 7%. Okay, so 7% of the national population, they are entering into poverty every year because of increasing of this healthcare cost. You can write this data also, it is very important. Okay, and the situation in the West Bengal is very dire. We can't expect the situation, what is the thing which is going in West Bengal. So there is a severe healthcare disruption so happening there. Okay, and let us see the next article. India's SDG focus and its human development issues. So what are these SDGs? Sustainable Development Goals. So how many Sustainable Development Goals you are having? 17. So which year we have to attain that Sustainable Development Goals? 2030. So is that possible for India to achieve all those things? So even in yesterday's report, that is Global Hunger Index said that we have SDG 2. What is this SDG 2? Zero hunger. So what is the category of India placed in that Global Hunger Index? Severe category. So there are 42 countries across the world, they are placed in this severe category. It is very difficult for those countries to achieve this zero hunger by 2030. So even that Global Hunger Index report said that. So here, because of this SDG focus and human development is in news now. And apart from this, you have to see even human development report which will be released by United Nations Development Program as well. So you have to connect these two things. So from which topic you will be seeing this article? From GS paper 2 under society and social issues, and from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, and from GS paper 3 under science and technology. So whichever subject you want, you can include them. Okay. So now let us see this article in detail. So India's progress in human development as per United Nations Development Program Human Development Report of 2023 to 2024 says that yes, India is having stagnation in the human development. We are not at all showing any progress in human development. So there are significant gender and income inequalities happening. So what are the reasons for these gender inequalities? Tell me now. So what are the reasons for gender inequalities in our country? Male dominant society, that is patriarchal society. Next. Social norms. Next. Okay, stereotypes and prejudice. Ethics. Very good. Next. It is not feminism. Tell me. Next. So, what are the reasons for income inequalities? Okay, education, lack of proper education, proper infrastructure. Next. Okay, lack of availability, that is increasing of unemployment, lack of training, lack of skills. Next. 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 Okay. Huh? For what? For what you need appreciation? You want appreciation for what? Okay. From? From whom? Okay. Family support. Why you need family support? You're already major, right? Uh, so if you had born in America, what did you do? Uh, uh? Okay. So if you see the ranking of India, India's ranking is 134 out of 193 in this Human Development Index. So this report is saying that we have to improve labor force participation rate so that we can reduce income inequality in the country. So can you tell me what is the data of labor force participation in India? I said earlier in our current affairs class. Come on, retrieve your memory now. So what is the percentage of women participation labor force in India? Uh, Not 45. We don't have that much. Ah, I want exact number. You cannot write like it is approximately below 40, below 30, below 20. It should be authenticated. You have to write according to World Bank or according to IMF or according to RBI. Not 38. Not 5%. Okay. Okay, let us see. And even recently, we had many global summits like G20 and we have SCO. Can you tell me recent summit that where India participated? SCO next, G20 next, Quad. Okay, next, global summits. I2U2 next. Uh, United Nations. Okay, so in the recent global summit, we focused on India needs to align its development efforts with sustainable development goals because of poor ranking in many indices. So because of all those rankings where India is performing very, very low, and even recently religious index which had been released, and India is not accepting that religious freedom report as well. So because of all those things, now we are focusing on, yes, India need to take the proper steps to attain this sustainable development goals. And if you see recent G20 summit, it said that yes, we have to focus on global commitment and India needs to enhance developmental policies and we have to align with our SDGs so that to some extent, not even all 17 SDGs, at least we can attain some SDGs. And next one here is, this article is saying that there is stagnation of India's ranking in this Human Development Index since 2019 onwards. So here we have to take some effective current policies and we have to continuously monitor the policies and we have to come up with interventions which are targeting the people who exactly need that. We have to target that people and we have to boost health, education as well as living standards so that we can at least achieve some human development. So how can we ensure there is human development? We have to focus on health and we have to focus on education and we have to focus on improving of living standards. On these areas, government need to come up with the targeted policies. And this one is whatever the gaps are there in our gender force. Okay, so what is the gender gap index? So gender gap index will be released by which organization? I said this also. Huh? Gender gap index. So write down this also and let me know after this class. So who will release this organization? What is the India's ranking and some facts regarding this? So what are the work I'm saying? So if you do that correctly, then you can write a very good mains answer. So many of you know. Huh? 37. Okay, so here there is a dramatic gender gap in labor force participation, which says that yes, we need to target gender budgeting and we have to focus on gender policies which will be focusing on empowering of women And especially in urban areas, there is a very less participation of women. So here we have to address the issues of urban areas. So why in urban areas there is very less participation of women in labor force compared to that of rural areas? Why? What are the problems in urban areas? Huh? What are the problems in urban areas for women? Lack of safety, lack of security, and they are coming to the urban areas from rural areas as a migrated woman. So again, they will be having some issues of financial independence, etc. Okay, so rising of income inequality is also increasing. So recently we discussed about income inequality report and wealth inequality report. So which organization gave that report? Recently, 3 days ago or 2 days ago. So I said about Nobel Prize of 2024 economy given to wealth inequality. So there I said about again income inequality and wealth inequality, which comes under part of our economic inequality, and I gave you the data also. So now tell me which organization released that report. Everyone is Gazri only in this class. You have to revise it, no? At least try to keep a schedule every week. On Sunday, try to revise that week's current affairs. So your exam is entirely 70 to 80% is your current affairs. How can you ignore them? Okay, so there is increasing of income inequality in India. So in India, especially concentration of income among the richest 1% indicates that there is a widening of gap. Okay, and even after this COVID-19 pandemic, the condition was very worse. If you see this agriculture, and there is no proper resilient health, there is no proper education system. So we have to focus on these things in our future. Okay, and especially if you compare with the rural areas and urban areas, in urban areas there is increasing of no participation of female. Okay, so in rural areas there is increasing of labor force participation when we compare to the urban areas. Okay, so we have to focus on what are the problems faced by women in cities, and we have to come up with the target guided policy initiatives. And if you know what is the difference between India and China regarding women's safety, so in the same way, like if you see the cases against women, they are high in India compared to that of China. Why? So in China, they are focusing on extreme safety of women. There is zero tolerance towards sexual harassment, and even at night 2 or 3. So every road will be having complete electrification, and there will be like every gully will be having like CCTV cameras will be monitoring by police 24/7. So if there is something which is happening against women, so within fraction of seconds there will be the police will be appearing there. So that kind of safety, if you are providing in India, obviously we can increase women safety and as well as women participation in economy, and women's contribution to GDP can be increased obviously. Okay, and next one is, yes, we can see the comparative HDI performance. So this report is saying that India is having very low ranking, right? So here your work is you have to compare India's ranking with other countries, at least with which we are sharing our boundary. Like Bangladesh or Nepal, how they are performing, Afghanistan, Pakistan ranking, Myanmar ranking, and even now, so there are many articles which are coming in the newspaper regarding Southeast Asia. We are increasing our relationship with Southeast Asia. Even how the Southeast Asia countries are performing. So why they are getting better rank? So why we are lagging behind? So you have to analyze all these reasons. Okay, so see this next article. A modified UBI policy may be more feasible. What is the keyword? UBI. What is this UBI? It is not UPI, it is UBI. What is UBI? Any idea? Universal Basic, I for? Yes, Universal Basic Income. So what is this Universal Basic Income? Do you have any idea, guys? What is that? What is Universal Basic Income? What is Universal Basic Income? Despite of? Huh? Despite of what? Yes, we can give universally without any discrimination, everyone basic income. In what context? Despite of employment. So if you're doing software engineer, if you're earning 2 or 3 lakhs per month, do you need this universal basic income? Then how can you say? Then how can you say? So why you need minimum income? For what? Okay, to fulfill the basic needs. Okay, so if government is giving basic income, will you do work? Will you do work? So government is giving, then why should I work? So government is giving. Okay. So if I don't want to improve my lifestyle, so what are the money I'm getting? I will be getting enough food, and what are the needs that I need? Then why should I work? I don't want to improve my standard. Then what if? Uh, uh, I don't want to marry. I don't want to have children. Then what is in that case? Okay. So because of this universal basic income, it is a concept which is having both advantages and disadvantages. So here you have to understand what is this universal basic income is about, and how our government is going to provide this universal basic income, and what are the advantages of providing this, and what are the disadvantages of providing this. So here it is not a new topic at all. So it is in the news from last 4 to 5 years onwards. So just you are the guys, you are new to this topic. So I am taking this from the basic onwards. Okay, so from economy point of view, from society point of view, from governance point of view, so this article is important. So what is this universal basic income? So universal basic income, it is a socio-economic policy where the citizens they will receive regular unconditional sum of money from the government regardless of their employment status or income. So regardless of the income and employment status, they will be getting this universal basic income directly from the government, that too regularly and as well as unconditional sum of money. So they will be saying certain amount of money that you will be getting. And the important aim of this universal basic income is to provide financial security and to reduce poverty by ensuring basic level of income for everyone. So what are the key features? The first one is unconditional. That means everyone will be getting this money without keeping any conditions, like how much you are earning, like what is the wealth you are having, so which kind of employment you are doing, so whether you are employed or unemployed, whether you are educated or uneducated. So they will be not bothering about this. So whoever the citizens, they will be getting this universal basic income. Next one is universal. Universal is nothing but every citizen are eligible here regardless of their financial background. And next one is regular and recurring. So this UBI is provided on a regular basis. For example, once in every 3 months or once in every month or like that, such as monthly or annually, you will be getting this UBI based on the decision of the government. And next one is cash payment. So here under this universal basic income, they will not give any coupons. So they will give directly the cash to you. Okay. So these are the 4 important features of this universal basic income. Okay, as I said here. And what is the need? The need here is we can reduce inequality, but in fact that will further leads to increasing of inequality, yes or no? So is it necessary for the guy who is earning like 10 lakhs per month or 5 lakhs per month? It is not at all enough. So it is not at all actually necessary for them. So it will, so the important aim here is we have to reduce inequality, and we have to reduce actually the income gap between rich and poor. I don't know, I can't understand like how the income gap will be decreased or not. So what is the criteria which is present behind this? So to be frank, I don't know this. But here this article is saying that, so whenever we are giving that, so we can reduce income gap. But how? You have to think about that. And next one here is even ILO, which said that ILO in World Employment and Social Outlook study, which highlighted that almost third of world's young women, that is 28.2%, they are not employed, they are not educated, or they are not trained. But if they are getting, at least it will be helpful for their financial stability. And next one here it is providing safety net for workers, because most of our Indian workers are working in informal sector or unorganized sector. They will be not having any social security net. So if they are getting this kind of universal income, they will be getting at least some security. And next one here is efficient welfare programs. So whenever government is focusing on health programs, or government is focusing on providing of employment programs, so there are lots of time we will be having loopholes and leakages. So actually benefits, they will be not getting the enough benefit that used to get. So because of this, whenever we are coming this kind of program, we can increase efficiency and we can decrease corruption and we can target the poor well. So this is the thing which mainly said. And this one is we can also focus on entrepreneurship and innovation. So when we are providing this basic income, so we are empowering the people so that they will come forward to start business. Because if they're not having a sustainable income, so will they come forward to start any business? No. So if they are having any idea that, okay, I'm getting money from the government, so this will be enough for my survival. So even if I'm not getting profits from this business also, I can run this. So in this way, government can boost entrepreneurs and as well as innovation. And next one is we can also address this problem of agrarian distress. That means in agriculture, especially farmers faces this financial burden. For example, if they want to start any farming process like sowing or making the land perfect, or when they want to do anything, so they need some input cost. So if they are getting this universal basic income, so there is no need of going of the farmers to any money lender or any bank to get credit. And next one is it will also support women and as well as vulnerable groups, and it will also helps to control this migration and rural poverty. So why the migration is happening? If they are not having the works in the rural areas, they will search, they will come to urban areas in search of work, and they will be doing work in construction sites or any other areas. So what are the challenges? Is it possible in India, which is the largest populous country in the world, to provide universal basic income? No, it will be very, very huge cost. So even our economic survey of 2016-17 said that universal basic income of 7,620 per year for every Indian would cost 4.9% of GDP at that time. So till now we don't have the present census data. So how many people they are present correctly as of now. So if you get this, that will lead to more than 7% of our GDP. Okay, and next one here is universal versus targeted. So when we are focusing on universal, it is not at all useful because rich people, they don't want this. So rather than that, we have to go for targeted approach. So exactly who are the people in need of that. And next one is that will also leads to price rise. So what happened whenever government is giving money for everyone? So everyone will be having money in the hand. So that will leads to obviously inflation. So India can become one more Venezuela. And next one here is there is unequal access. So UBI is not carefully designed to address this gender inequality. As I said, how this inequality, income inequality will be decreased, or how this gender inequality will be decreased. So there is no proper designing of this plan. And this one is even what happened that will further leads to dependency risk of women on men. And this one is labor market distortion can be also happen. Okay, if people are getting this basic income, will they go for work, especially laborers? So they are getting 100 rupees per day, for example. They go to wine shop and they will be making small pack 90. 90? Is that 90? 90 or 120? 90. And they will aram, so they will give, they will bring some stuff beside that shop and they'll sit. So what happens because of this labor sector industries, will they work? Will they run? That will lead to obviously falling down of our economy itself. So if you see in other countries, which countries implemented this UBI, it is very important. So we have Finland. So Finland conducted an experiment of implementing this UBI for unemployed citizens from 2017, and Canada also announced that it will be implementing this for income guarantee and also enroll participants in 3 areas, but they didn't continue this. And this one is Netherlands. Some cities in Netherlands, they have launched this municipal level trials, but not even a single country implemented this UBI, but how we can implement in India. Okay, so these are some important things that you have to remember, and these are the important articles that appear in our today's Hindu newspaper. So I hope you enjoyed this class. If you really like this class, please do hit the like button and please do share this class to your friends. and do subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy. Don't forget.